So hello guys, this is Aryan Jain from IEEE CS. Namaste, Pranam, Vanakam, Konnichiwa. This much languages only I know. So I am the senior core member of IEEE CS, and today the topic I've chosen to present to you all is Flutter. As everybody knows, creating apps is one of the most interesting thing people find. So one of the most handy device you can have with you is phone, and you need mobile apps to publicize your idea or creativity. So now we will be discussing the basics about the mobile application development. So these are the topics which we are going to cover today. I hope I am visible. So intro to Flutter. How do we set up the development and environment for Flutter? Then what are the stateful and stateless widgets in Flutter? How do we create our first app? And then what are the some components and widgets and some basics about Flutter? So we will be creating a very minimal application in Flutter at the end of this lecture. So what is Flutter? So before diving into what is Flutter, let's know that what type of mobile application development are available. So there are two type of mobile application developments. One is web app, the web app on mobile you can use using Chrome and Firefox, etc. And then you have the native applications which run as the application file on that platform. So for example, for Android you have .apk, for Apple you have .ipa, and so on. So in native application development, there are two type of development. So one is cross-platform, second is native. So native is, for example, for Android, you use Kotlin. Kotlin is a framework used for developing Android applications. So if you write a Kotlin script, the build file of that application can run only for Android, nothing else. And similarly for iOS, you have Swift. If you write a script in Swift, it will only run on iOS, not on Android, or vice versa. So yeah. So I'm sorry. Yeah. So nowadays people are preferring to develop using cross-platform script languages. Did this now? What is cross-platform? As the name suggests, like one script you are writing and it can run cross-platform across platforms. Like if I write a code in some XYZ language, that file can run on multiple operating systems as the same app, not like separate scripts for separate platforms. So in the cross-platform frameworks, we have two popular frameworks. One is React Native, and the other is I'm so sorry, Flutter. So React Native was developed by Facebook, and Flutter is developed by Google. Now let's discuss some of the basic differences between both of them. I have noted down some points for you guys, and I'll be showing them to you. Yeah. So language. The differences based on language. React Native uses JavaScript or TypeScript and the React framework to run. But there is a programming language called Dart. It is a new programming language which is developed by Google uh, to specially run Flutter framework. Like Dart is a combination of Python, C++, JavaScript. Means all the good parts, the good things, beautiful things of every programming language. They've combined and made a new programming language called Dart. So Flutter runs on Dart. So performance. React Native is a bit slower than Flutter because React Native uses JavaScript bridging. Means the script which is written in JavaScript, the React Native scripts are written in JavaScript. Now using the JavaScript bridge, it is converted into the native platform code. But in Flutter, whatever code I write in this Dart programming language, the programming language, that script, Dart programming language is compiled into Kotlin code or Swift code, whatever the platform is there for any operating system, and then it runs. So as it is written, compiles to native ARM code, offering potentially better performance. Obviously, because there is no bridging or there is no bridging or connection involved. There is no middleman. The connection is direct. So just the time taken in Flutter is the building time. Like when I press on the run button, the building of the application file to run on the device is a little bit time, little bit time it takes. Depend on, like, if you are using a very good device, then it would take 10 to 15 seconds. But if you are using a sluggish device, it would take 1 minute even. So that's the thing. In React Native, it builds directly to the device for running and testing, but the final output is slower. Like if you are building a very small app, it won't take much long for an app to run. But for example, suppose that you have loads and loads of data to load on the app, and so many widgets and components are loading. So in that way, Flutter is a bit faster. Now UI components. Now if we talk about UI components, Flutter is unbeatable because it offers ample amount of flexibility. So as it is written here, React Native uses native UI components for rendering on each platform. So, like for example, the same problem is with if we talk about the native languages like Swift or what do we say, Kotlin. The same problem is with them also. Like for example, if I created a widget called button, so it will use that button, which is like it has been set by the operating system. That button should look like that. The native components will be used. But in Flutter, you can do any kind of customization, like this term allowing pixel perfect UI. Like if you read the Flutter docs or any Flutter course you will do, they will mention this term, that Flutter builds each and every pixel on its own. Flutter paints each and every pixel on the screen on its own. That's Flutter's capability, and that's why now it is becoming the most widely used. In the past 5 to 7 years, each and every application used under Google, like YouTube, Gmail, etc., every Google's application is running on Flutter. They have slowly switched from Kotlin to Flutter. Even the iOS apps are now starting to switch on Flutter. So that's the thing. Now about development speed. As I previously told in this performance part, like React Native is a little bit faster because it uses JavaScript. Flutter is a little bit slower in developing because the building time it takes. But Flutter has a very good feature called hot reload feature. I will show you the hot reload feature during when we will be doing the hands-on thing on building the app. So hot reload feature is like, for example, if I made any changes, I don't need to kill the app and install the app again to see the change. Whatever the change I make the in the script, then and there the change will be reflected in the application, like we are making a normal website. Then community and ecosystem, a little bit more theory. We will go through it quickly so that we can do the practical part more. So React Native has a larger community, yes, because it is a bit older. Flutter has a growing community because it came into proper use in 2017. And integration, like React Native integrates the native components, and Flutter has its own libraries, and that's why it is able to do that pixel perfect thing. Customization and design relies more on native components, yes, exactly like here we discussed. Relies more on the native components, and Flutter offers more flexibility. Learning curve. React Native is a little bit easier to learn because people who are familiar to JavaScript and React, like they won't take too much to learn React Native. Just a little bit change in the name of the components and state management, and everything else is same only. But in Flutter, you need to know the syntax of that. It is not a big deal to learn Flutter, but yeah, you need to know a little bit because Flutter is completely object oriented. Everything you build on the screen are classes and objects. So that's why you need to have a basic idea about inheritance and the syntax and the object names and blah blah about Flutter. But it's not a big deal. You can just go through any course. I will tell you about the courses at the very end. Uh, yeah. So then we talk about the developer experience. Yeah, React Native is a bit older, so it is known for its simplicity and familiarity. And then Flutter offers a consistent look across platforms and custom widgets. See, Flutter's power is custom widgets, the flexibility for the developer to develop anything, and popularity. React Native is more established, yes, because it is older, and Flutter is rapidly growing. That's a bit theory. Now, what is Flutter? We discussed all of these points. A little bit history out of Flutter. Let's discuss, because before starting any practical, we should know the theory, as we have been taught throughout our school syllabus. Flutter history. Flutter is an open source UI software development toolkit created by Google. Yes, we know this. As I told you previously during the differences part, then it allows the developer to to build natively compiled application. Why they have used natively compiled? They've used this term natively compiled because in React Native, as I told, the system uses the JavaScript bridge. Like the JavaScript bridge is there. The JavaScript bridge is converting the JavaScript parts and the parts of the code into native platform executable files in real time. So during execution, it becomes a little bit slower. Flutter was, but I'm sorry, at this point I skipped. But in Flutter, once we have built the file, the whole Dart script, the Dart is the program. Listen, keep this thing in mind. Flutter is not a programming language. Dart is the programming language, and Flutter is a framework running on it. Like we say, React is not a programming language. React is a framework which runs on JavaScript the same way. Yeah. So Flutter was introduced in 2017 and it became popular. It uses a declarative syntax, reactive programming, and customizable set of it. This customizable, that's the power of Flutter. It uses a hot reload feature. It's a very cool feature I will be showing you during the development part. Flutter's ecosystem includes a variety of third-party packages. Like the third-party packages, you can look here, like Flutter Pub, like pub.net. You can see the list of third-party packages here. All the third-party packages are here. Where is the PPT? Yeah, here it is right here. Okay. So then its popularity has grown rapidly, leading to its adoption in various project industries. The project continues to evolve, yeah, because it is a new framework. Because then that's why we are getting very regular updates and new changes in the framework. So that's the point that's talking about. Now we are done with the theory part. Now let's go to the installation part. Installation getting started. Now I won't be demonstrating the whole of the installation because then it may exceed the time limit of the stream today. So I will giving you a brief and the little bit of important parts where you need to focus on so that you don't skip on things. So here we go to install Flutter. Simply search this on Google. Open this, download Flutter SDK. So now choose your operating system. Let's first of all talk about Windows. Setting up on Windows is pretty simple. Pretty simple. So just download this file, unzip it, keep it in some location. Don't delete it, okay? Like by mistake if you delete it. So that's the thing. For example, you stored it in C/document/development. So the Flutter folder is stored in the C drive inside the documents folder, inside the development folder. Suppose we have created a folder called development. Now once you open it and paste it in that directory, what you have to do is give me a sec. I will show you that thing. Suppose I go to the file explorer. I go to the documents folder. I create some folder called development here. New folder, and I create development. Okay. And there, suppose you have pasted this folder. I can just create a folder called Flutter here. We've pasted the Flutter's folder here after downloading and unzipping it. See, it is a zip file. You unzip and it paste it here, suppose. And then there is a folder called bin inside the Flutter. There are many files and Flutter system files, whatever. So there is there would be some files in a folder called bin. There would be the main Flutter executable file, which would be running to perform all the Flutter tasks. So you have to do it. Now what you have to do, click on the start button, search here, environment variables. Click here, edit the system environment variables. And then go to environment variables right here. And in the path thing, this one, go to edit. And here, paste the directory of the Flutter bin folder. Like it for me, it would go like C/users/HP. Wait, I will copy it right. No, not HP right here. Initially, I was a HP user, so I have the habit of calling it HP. Okay, I pasted it right here, and then bin. You do it okay, and you do it okay, and then you do it apply. Okay, then it will just the Flutter will show up on the terminal. I will show you the next steps. Now the installation is complete. For now, I will remove it from here because I don't have installed on the virtual machine. It will give me errors. Okay. So in this way, we have to paste it in the environment variables thing, the Flutter bin folder path. Okay, and you are done with the installation. For Mac OS, it is as simple as same simple like this only. For Mac OS, go here and download the Flutter binary files based on your CPU architecture. So I'm on Apple Silicon. I will download this one and I will unzip it in some directory, and then I will copy the directory. And now there is a command, this vi $home.zshrc. So we have to set the environment variables in the Flutter's terminal, sorry, Mac's terminal as well. In Mac terminal also we have to do this, because for example, wait, I will show you. Suppose we pick this and we go to terminal and we paste it and enter. Now you see some file is open to enter. So here now you have to press I on your keyboard, and here now you can see it is in insert mode. Now you can type and do anything. So this I have to paste this here. Like I will show you, it is the same thing is given here also. Yes, export this. So in this part, you should have the Flutter's directory path in this part of this command. Just copy it, and in somewhere on Notepad or anywhere, just paste the directory here, and the paste that command here in this part at the very starting, at the very top. See, I have it here. Export path is equal to user HP Flutter bin. So in this way, it is done. Now press on escape. So the insert mode will be closed, and press, so then enter colon WQ and press on enter. In this way, the file is saved and you are done now. Now you can test it by typing, you can test the installation by entering this command, where Flutter. It means that where is it installed? Or simply if you mess up with the command, just simply enter Flutter. See, I have Flutter installed, that's why the sub commands are available. Same way in Windows also, if you enter Flutter, I guess it will give error here because it's not installed here. Yeah, see, it gives me here error here because it's not installed. But in Windows, when you do that environment variable thing and you enter you hit Flutter in the terminal or PowerShell command from whatever, any command line of your Windows, you will get this prompt. Means the Flutter is successfully installed on your system. The Flutter SDK, Software Development Kit. So now we will check the other installations of the of Flutter. How can we do it? We enter Flutter and Flutter Doctor. Okay, wait. Let's get started with the PPT also. Yeah. So what are stateful and stateless widgets? We will come to it in a bit. So create your first step. We enter Flutter Doctor. Flutter Doctor, enter. Now it will run some checks and it will show you the summary. See, Flutter installed, Android toolchain, etc., and like everything is at one. Android Studio, leave it. This error does not cause any problem in your execution. Now, if you are if you are a Mac user, you should have Xcode installed, and there you can have the simulators, like the in Mac it is called simulator, the iOS simulators, where you can test the app. But if you are not a Mac user, you can't test on iOS devices. You need a Mac to test Flutter apps on any iOS device. If you are a Windows user, you can test on Android, and if you are a Mac user, you can test on both of them, Android and iOS. So now, how to test on Android emulator? Search for Android Studio. Get Android Studio. Android Studio is just needed to test Android apps. No other work is there for Android Studio, because we would be doing more all of our work with VS Code. VS Code is very fluent, and it has many extensions for us to help us with. Okay, so where is download part? Let's make it simpler. Android Studio download. Yeah, right here. Download Android Studio. Whatever is your operating system, it will download the same for you. Download it and install it. Then how to create a first emulator for your system? Go to Android Studio. I hope I'm clear to everybody. Now here, click on this button, triple dots to open the options menu. Then go to virtual device manager, and then create a new device. And there you can enter the basic needs like size and all. But during the installation process also, it will guide you through the process. Like it's a simple procedure. You don't need to know any like rocket science to install. Now your Android emulator will be created. Done. Complete work. Now we run Flutter Doctor to check the complete proper installation of what do we say, Flutter. Yeah. See, like I told you previously, same thing. Okay. Now we are done with Flutter Doctor. Second part. Now we are going to do the most interesting work, create a Flutter project. So let's do one thing. Let's go to desktop, CD, desktop, and create a new directory called tech niche. Uh, tech niche. Okay. Then CD into tech niche. Then create a new Flutter project. Flutter, create my first project. You need internet connection, okay? For first time to create your Flutter project. Okay, enter. Now it will download some files and etc. etc. Okay, and now your Flutter project is ready. Let's go to desktop. Where is the tech niche folder? Tech niche, my first project, and see the project is ready. Now I have actually let it close this. This is not needed anymore now. Yeah. So I have actually already created a project for you guys, and it looks like this. We will be creating a portfolio app which has the basic information about our education, our projects, and our LinkedIn and our GitHub. We will be creating this. I have already created it, and we will be using some of the snippets from it so that we don't end up wasting our time in typing. Because I'm sorry, because we have bound time, so we need to keep we need to respect the time limits as well. So now what is the process to open the project in VS Code? Let's create a new window in VS Code, new window, and place it somewhere here. Yeah, yeah, okay. So what do? We drag and drop this folder into VS Code. Okay, now you have to do one additional thing. Go to this extensions part of VS Code and search Dart. Install this Dart extension, this verified extension, and search Flutter. Install this Flutter verified extension as well. So these are the official extensions provided by the Google community for us, so that it is very easy for us to build the app and some assistance from VS Code. Yeah. So now what are these folders? So many folders. Like those who are new to development, it would be a bit terrifying for them. No need to worry. The work we will be doing, the scripting part will be done in this folder only. What is the significance of folder? Don't worry. I will tell you about everything. Android folder. Now, as I told you previously, the Dart script is compiled into the native platform's code. This Android folders has all the conversion files and all the basic Android files, which convert the Dart script into an Android executable app. Similarly for iOS and for Linux, for Mac OS, and for Windows as well. Like a Flutter script can run on all of these operating systems, Windows also. Then this git ignore and all this is not of our use right now. Pubspec.yml. This is important for us. What is this big things? So what is important for us here is this dependencies part. Like in Python, we do import import math or import whatever. or we have to install any external library, we use pip install and the library name. So here if we want to install anything or we want to include any external package in our project, we enter it right here. And then if we want to include any images or extra font or whatever, we include it here, assets part. We uncomment the assets part and we include the name of the asset or the directory. Right now we will be going to it. Once we do the assets part, then we'll be going to it. And same goes for fonts. If we want to include an external font, we have to download the font file and we have to include it here. Okay, so that's the use of pubspec.yml. Now we will get started with the development part. Stop the script. We don't need this. Uh, let's stop the script which is already running right there. Yeah, it is already stopped. Okay, so let's create. Now we will run this app into our iOS simulator. I'm not running it on Android simulator right now, Android emulator, because it is a bit unstable on Mac. It crashes frequently on Apple silicons. That's why I would be testing in on iOS, but the same thing is visible on Android device also. Okay, so our Android emulator is live here. I will take it to the next desktop where we would be working. Okay, now I build this app. How do we build this app? uh, yeah, I hope now it is easier for all of you to see. Now we open the Dart script. See, any Dart script has its file extension .dart. Now we go to the run tab and run without debugging. See, like you can run the app through terminal also, like you are in the directory of the project. Yeah, and then you can run this command flutter run. It will run by that also, but the disadvantage is that if you are running through terminal, it is not actually running through VS Code, and then you cannot harness the power of VS Code to make it easier for you to go through mobile app development. Like all the extensions we installed, they would be useless for you if you run it through command line. That's why you should run it from here, so that the extensions are effective on the script and as well as the app preview. See, the app is running, the app is already built. Now app is getting installed and boom, the app is ready. Now this is the demo app which Flutter supplies to you when you create the project. So 1 2 3 4 5 6, boom 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 boom, whatever. Okay, so what is all of this? A bit scary, right? If you are new to programming or you have not dealt with anything like this, don't worry, you have got me, I will help you out. So let's remove all of these useless comments. And before getting started with the Flutter programming, I would like to introduce you to what is stateful and stateless widget. Like if you see here, there is this stateful widget, and then there's this stateless widget. So state means, what do you mean by state? Not state Uttar Pradesh and all. State means what is the state of your work, like at this time what is your work, and what at the next second or at the next time instant what will be your work. Like students who have studied DSD in flip flops, you would remember why is flip flop called that. Flip flop holds state. Why? Because it remembers the previous state at the previous clock pulse. And those who have not studied, simply remember. Right now, I have one finger open. Now, if I have to create it two, I will add one to it. How I know that I have to add one to it? Because I know previously I already had a finger open. That's why I need to add one more finger to it. Now, suppose I have no fingers open. Now, somebody tells me you have to open two fingers. How do I know I have to open two fingers? Because previously I had zero fingers open. That's why now I have to open two fingers. Now, this is a bit of understanding what is the vocabulary meaning of state. Now, what is the use of state? Let's see it here. What are stateless widgets? Immutable UI components means once they are built, they can't be changed. Like what you have, what is shown on the screen, it will remain like that only. You can't make changes to it. Representing unchanging parts of the interface. Properties are set during creation and remain constant. No internal state. Like a state is not held. The previous information of the widget is not held anywhere. So ideal for displaying static content. The information displayed or any widget displayed will remain static. Now, what are stateful widgets? They are mutable. Mutable means they can be changed. And you should know the meaning of immutable and mutable because they are used in every programming languages. Immutable means which cannot be changed. Mutable means which can be changed. So yeah, as they can change because they hold data and state. The previous information of the widget can be updated and rebuilt multiple times. Comprise of a widget and the state class. This I will explain you in the script. Used for managing dynamic data and interactions. Okay. Suppose where is this? Yeah. Suppose if this was, see, you see this home page. This home page is a stateful widget. That's why when I press this button, see, it is programmed to increment the counter plus plus, and this counter is shown right here in the text. So when you press the plus, it remembers, oh, that counter is 14. Now I have to show 15. That's why. But if it was stateless widget, see, it is a stateful widget. If it was a stateless widget, there won't be any change. Now let's get started from building it from scratch. So yeah, how can you start from creating this script? Let's clear all of the clutter. Now this is the main dot. Ignore the error. Okay. Now first of all, we import package flutter material.dart. Okay. Then we create main void main. We don't need this. Yeah, and then we, okay, let's leave it. First we have to create a widget. Now as I told at the very beginning, every widget or everything we display on the screen is an object or a class. So we need to create a class. Now you don't need to remember these great syntax of creating a class. There are snippets installed, and these snippets are provided to you by these glorious extensions, as I told. Now I create a stateless widget. Okay, now see, you can see this is a stateless widget here. Okay, and I name it sorry, not Aryan. Why should I name it with my name? I will give it my app. Now in this I have to return a material app. This is the beginning of the app. This is how we proceed. Material app. In material, now you want to see what all properties can be given. As I told you, everything in Flutter is object. So like I created object here. Now material is also itself object. See, it is an object. Now, if you want to see the source code of the object of the system object of the Flutter, just press on command if you are on Mac or control if you're on Windows, and then click on it. Command click. Now you can see the whole source code. But don't mess it up, or you will fall into trouble. Okay. Now in this, we want this home argument. Okay, home parameter, where which will mark the beginning of our app. So now I will create stateless widget again, and I will show it my home page, and I return my home page in it. Yeah, and I want to, but now you see, still I can't see anything here. Why? Because in main function we have to call the run app function. By that the app starts running. So the function is run app, and the name of the widget which initializes the material app. So I will give my app. See, now the app has started. Why don't we see anything? Because you see the flow. The main when this script starts, the main function is called, which calls the run app, which runs the my app class, which is actually a stateless widget. So in Dart, extends means oh yeah, if you would have studied Java, it is like that only. Say extends means we are inheriting the stateless widget class to our class. So now see, main to run app to my app. In my app, the build function is called. Build functions mean whatever is executed in any build function is painted on the screen. Now build function we initialize our app, and in that app we call the home as our home page, and in the home page class we have our build function, and there is nothing. Placeholder means nothing. So the very basic platform, like the plate, like where do you write on a paper? No. So we need the paper for the pen to write on the screen. So that is scaffold. Now see, you can see this white screen. Now in an app, what do we have? An app bar, and below the app bar all the other stuff. So there in the scaffold there is a parameter called app bar. App bar. Now there we create this app bar object, and see, now we can see an app bar here. Okay. So in the newer I don't have, I guess I don't have the latest version of Flutter. So if you install, maybe you won't see any color here. So what you can do is go to background color, and in background color uh, apply some colors like colors dot blue, black, whatever. See, see, now why all these changes get reflected instantly on the screen? Due to the hot reload feature. See, this is hot reload. How is it getting automatically called? You have to do two things. Go to settings, command comma or control comma, and turn on auto save in your VS Code. Turn on auto save, you know, after delay or whatever. Like you can turn on auto save here, and then auto sorry, hot reload, Flutter hot reload on autosave, turn it to all. So now as soon as you make any change in the script, as soon as you make any change in the script, okay, the VS Code will save the file, and upon save, the extension will see, oh, the file is saved, we need to hot reload. So the extension will automatically call the hot reload thing, and the changes will be reflected in the screen instantly. So what is the difference between hot reload and hot restart? Hot reload is like just reflecting the changes. Hot restart is like you close the app and you open the app again. Okay, that is the thing. So these are the very basics. So I won't take much time, as I told previously in coding. I will take the parts from here and I will explain accordingly. And I will code the essential part, because already we are running out of time. So it does give error. Wait, let me create the required files. So for these screens, we would be having two screens in the lib folder. All the scripting part has to be done in lib folder. So for screens, I create a folder. Two screens we would be having. One screen would be home screen. Okay. And second screen we have used projects screen. Second screen would be project screen. Okay. Yeah. So we will start with the coding now. Let it give the error because we haven't created the my home page class yet. So now we create a stateless widget here. I typed STL for stateless widget snippet, or STF for stateful widget snippet. Now STL, and here we write my home page. It is a it is a good practice for everyone to write all these, like all the classes and widgets in separate Dart files. So it makes it easier for you to code. And yeah, so we need to import it. So for example, if I ever get any error in any of the part, like blue or red underline, you go there in Windows, press control full stop, or command full stop in Mac, and then whatever the quick fix is possible, you can click on it. It saves a lot of time. This all these miraculous powers are provided by the extension. So the extension, as I told you, these Flutter and Dart code extensions. So we need to restart it. Yeah, now you can see, as we have not made anything here, it shows like that. And we need to import the material.dart as well. Yeah, all these parts, all these things, objects are part of this package. It is included in Flutter by default. Now we will create a scaffold, which is, oh sorry, we will create a scaffold. See, you get autocomplete, which like saves a lot of time in typing. Now you see, if now you notice one thing, as soon as I type here anything, you will see or hot reloading here. If I type suppose app bar and I create app bar in it, see, hot reload complete. So initially it would be blue here, like a primary switch would be colors.blue, but I choose red, that's why I put colors.red. So the theme of the app would be red. I'm not diving much into theme part because that's not part of the basics we are going to cover. So yeah, now we have the app bar. Now we will want to give the title to app bar. So We have an argue a property called title, and then title property. Now if you want to get information about any object or any property, what object to supply, hover your cursor over it, and now see it wants a widget. It wants a widget object. So obviously we would be having text here, so we supply a text widget. Okay, and in that you have to supply a string. So I will name it as my portfolio. Now see, my portfolio is right here. Now, as I told you initially, yeah, this was the app we will. What will be the structure? The structure will be this rectangular box, this rectangular box, this rectangular box, and all these rectangular box are stacked in a vertical column. And then in this rectangular box we have side by side these two parts, and in this part we have these two parts. So for stacking in a vertical order, we need to use an object called column, and for stacking side by side we need to use an object called row. Now we are going to use it. Okay, this was the project we were running. So we are done with the app bar. Now we will be creating the body of this app. So we have the body argument, the body property. One thing for your assistance, this is a very small script. Like you can see, the script is so big right here, and this is not even big. This is very small. You would have like thousands of lines of code in it. So like you would be confused in the bracketing, like where is what and etc etc. So the Flutter extension you installed adds additional comment at the end, at the closing bracket of any object. For example, this elevated button closes right here. So I have that comment here, like the elevated button object concludes here. So it is for the assistance of yours, so you won't face any issue. Like you can see right here also, how did I figure out that here that there is only 3 4 lines, but still how did I figure out quickly? Because I can see a bar closes here and this is inside scaffold. So here I'm entering body. Now in body, like in HTML we have div, and in React Native we have view. Similarly here in Flutter we have container. So I type container. Now I need to give it height and width. So height I will give, it takes double. See, double object it takes. It means simply a number. So double dot max find it. In this way, it will take all the space possible. And height with double dot max finite width as well. So now the container has occupied this space. If you want to see which way widget is occupying what space, click on this Flutter widget inspector, and then click on this icon. See, it is showing you each and every object. If you want to see any particular object, tap on this select widget mode and tap on this. See, this is the container. It is occupying the whole possible space. Okay, as we did double dot max finite right here. So in this container we can give child. Child means what will be inside this container. So in child, now as I told, everything is stacked column. Like in a column there are boxes, in every boxes. So we need a column in which we have rows, means they in column every object is stacked side by side, like this, like this, like this, like this. So we will create a column right here. Okay, and in column, let's do one thing. Let's turn on this thing so you can see what is being built everywhere. So in column we have an property called children, means what will be the children. So in this app we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 children. So here we need to create one row. Okay, let's get going step by step. So this is the sample work I'm showing, so you can keep an idea of where are we going throughout the app. Okay, so now we create a column. Column we have created. Now we create a row. In row, now row, what we had on the left side, we had this circular avatar. What is a circular avatar? This circle, my photo you saw, that is circle avatar. Yeah, so in row I will create a circle avatar. Sorry, the children property. Let me string this up. Yeah. In the children property, we have a circle avatar. Now you can see it. Now we need to bring it here. We will bring it here shortly, and we need two text. Now these texts were one below each other. So for that also we need a column. So other part would be column, and that it would have children and then two text. It was my name, and then another text. Other text was my XYZ, whatever I want to write. Okay. And enter comma after everything and press command S. So the extension command S or control S, you know. So it will automatically auto format the script. Okay. Now you can see it right here. How do we format it? First of all, we need to provide it spacing from the edges of the screen. How do we do it? Padding or margin. I would like to use padding for it. So container has a property called padding. Now, as I told, everything is objects here. So padding does not simply take a double like 20 or 30. If I write 20, error is there. So it takes an object called edge insets. Edge insets means insets the inset. How do I describe? Yeah, edge means from the edge of the screen. What are the insets? Insets means coming inside. Okay. So edge insets dot all means from all direction I need it. So I give it 20 units. Now see, you see this 20 units of padding from all of these sides of the screen. One is symmetric. Symmetric means vertical or horizontal. If I give it vertical padding, sorry, vertical. Now you see only vertical padding is there. You can see this blue space. It is the highlighting is done by this tool. Okay. So right now we are, and one is only like from each and every side you can give. Suppose I give it to left side only. So on the left side only padding would be there. And if you want to see other options available, you can press Control Space to open the autocomplete in Windows, or in Mac FN Control Space. See, these options are available. Okay, these three. So, but for now we need that padding from all the directions. So we undo it all the way to the all thing. Yeah. So we have it right here. Now we need to place it at the corners. So in row, for row, what is the main axis? The row is like placing the objects horizontally. So this is the main axis for it. Obviously, the horizontal will be the main axis and the vertical will be the cross axis. So now we want to distribute the, we want to place the objects as we want to align the objects along the horizontal axis of the row, which is the main axis. So we have a property called main axis alignment, and we will use main axis alignment dot space between. See, now they are placed corner to corner. Okay, because it has placed like space between means place it to the ends and all the space in between. If I want a space around will be like some space around both of them to place them symmetrically. And then we have space evenly. Space evenly means exactly same space is there on the either side, like suppose 10 centimeters here, 10 centimeters here, 10 centimeters here. Like the screen will be divided into equal parts by the widths by space evenly. But as I want to place them on the edges, so I will use space between. Okay, I can play around with the properties as I want, like I can hit and try. Okay, so now I will format this. I will make its radius as 50. Yeah, I need more, 70. And now how will I give the font size? So in every text object there is a property called style. In style we need to supply an object called text style. In text style we can give every type of styling like fn control space. Now I can see all the properties available. For now I want font size, so I go to font size and I enter 30. See, no, 40. Okay, and then in this part I want a font size 25. So style, and then text style, and then font size. Font size we have 25. Okay, and now I want to align them to the right. So they are in a column. So for a column, the column keeps the objects in a vertical space. So this would be the main axis, but I want to align across the horizontal axis. You can see this column. Inside column there are two text. So I will do column uh, cross axis alignment, because horizontal axis is the cross axis for column. Okay, cross axis alignment dot end. Now see, they are pushed towards the end of the column. Okay, now this we are done. Okay, uh, these blue underlines I will explain why are they there later. So now in this column below I want that my education thing. So I will use a text my education. Oh, sorry, I placed it within the row. So where is the column? Column ends right here, and the columns list of widget is here. So in this way, I like when you begin with Flutter, in this way you can find the brackets. Okay. Now here I place the text. Now it has come here, but it is not like we want. First we need the spacing between them. So I will wrap this in a container, and then in container I will give it a width because I want it on the leftmost side. So I need I need to give space for this text to get to the leftmost side. Hence I will give this container a width, and this comma, yeah, width, and this width would be double dot max finite, because I want it to take up the available width. Okay, now it is gone to the left side. Okay, so now I want spacing. So I will use padding or margin, whatever you want to use, but I want to use padding. So edge insets dot all. I want 20 units of padding. See, now it has come there. It looks like this. Okay. But actually you see I don't need it from this, I need it from top only. So I will go right here and I will do it dot only, and from top I need. So on pressing Control S, it is doing the auto formatting thing. Okay. Now I want for a bigger font size. So I will go to style, text style, and in text style I will go to font size, and in font size I will go to 30. Let's give it, it's too big. 25, yeah, that's great. Okay. So that's great, or I would go for 20. Okay. Now after 20 font size I have kept, and I want to make it bold. For bold, there's a property called font weight. Sorry, in the text object, not outside the text object. Font weight, and now font weight dot bold. I want bold font. Okay, so it is bold, but it is too much bold, so I can use some other another weight. So I would like to use W500. Yeah, I can play around with the properties. Like if I want to 100, it is very thin. 900, it's too thick. So 500, I choose 500. So now this is like this. Okay. Now this widget. Oh, sorry. Here. How did we make this? We are going to make this. Okay. Now we are going to create, because this is a separate widget. Yeah, here. Because this is a separate widget, we are going to create a folder called widgets inside the lib folder. Widgets. And in widgets, I'm going to create a file called myeducation.dart. So all these information I'm going to take from here. This list I'm going to use inside the object. Okay, I copy it. Now because in the object I don't need any changing criteria, any changing thing. Hence I am going to use stateless widget. We need static widgets, the stateless widget, and I use my education. Now in home screen I place it below my education label. Here the container enclosing my education closes. So now here I will do my education. Now see, it automatically shows up with the file. Now as soon as I hit enter, okay, it will include the file. See, it has already imported that file. I don't need to import it manually. Sorry, the Flutter extension is doing all the things. Okay, so due to nothing being here, it is showing this. No, now I will use a container. Okay, let's see. So here, what I will explain you the script quickly so that we don't end up wasting our time. Here we have used card. Card is a container which has a elevated effect, like a shadow effect. Container with shadow effect is a card. That's it. Okay, and then all of these things. And the thing which I'm going to discuss right here is list view dot builder. Okay, so now we are going to go through it. First, we use a card. Okay, in card every object has child property, means what is going to be included in it. So there we have a container. Okay, and in container uh, I want some child. Child will be list view dot builder. Now what is the difference between list view and list view dot builder? For example, wait, I forgot to place that list here. Yeah. So, for example, you have a list and you want to show a list of object, as I had shown there. This this list of objects. So you have two methods: list view and list view dot builder. So what does list view do? It creates a list automatically. Suppose you have 1,000 elements list. So obviously it would go out of screen, rather because it is not in screen, but still it will be built in the RAM. You are not seeing it obviously because it is outside the screen. Suppose you have 1,000 elements list and it is the list view has built all the complete of the list. So only the top 10 or top 7 elements would be visible, or top 20 elements would be visible, and the further part would be outside the screen. So why do we need to build that part which is outside the screen? But list view builds all of it. So for large amount of data, it is like a very cumbersome task using this list view, because it creates a load on the device. Like, it is not advised to use list view for large amount of data. For 3 to 4 list items which are appearing on the screen, list view is great. But for a large amount of data, we use list view dot builder. Now, as the word says, builder, list view dot builder, as the word says, builder. What you do, suppose you have thousand elements, 1,000 list elements. Suppose the first 7 are there on the screen. So the first 7 are there on the screen, the next 10 or next 15 would be built actually in the RAM, other won't be built. When you scroll, then they would be built simultaneously while scrolling. So it becomes much more efficient to build, and it does not wear out the system's performance. Okay, so hence we use list view dot builder. Though the list is small here, but to demonstrate list view dot builder, I would be using list view dot builder. Okay, so in item builder, so we open autocomplete F and control space. uh, we click on this. Now this means using these two arguments, we are returning some object. Okay, like in a function, how do we have a function? Like, there is some function, function hello, and function hello, I want name and age, and then here the return type is int. So then here I return age plus 1. Okay, so I am returning an int. So what is this thing now? These are called anonymous functions, like this or like this. Anonymous functions means this is a part of the Dart programming language. Anonymous function means functions we don't name or we don't declare anywhere, but they can be just used where we need it. For example, if I want to do some action which is needed right here only, and we don't need it in other part of the app, so there we won't consider declaring this whole function and all, and then passing the function's name here. No, we will create the anonymous function right here, and we will write the action right here. Okay, so this arrow syntax, as I had shown you, arrow syntax. So arrow syntax means if I write name and age, and then return, let me maximize it. Okay, So return age plus 1. This is equivalent to this. But if I don't want to do any action, like in function I want to do some action, some statements, then I return, then only return, then we should use this brackets only, or if I only want to return, I use this thing, arrow syntax. This means yeah, this means using these parameters I'm returning this value. That's it. So let's go with this thing, list view dot builder. I use this. So the context and index, these two are supplied. What is context? Context is the information which Flutter utilizes in the backend to know which page are we on and where the widget has to be built. And the index. Index means I will show what is the use of index. So there is a topic object called list tile. Let me shrink the window again so that you can see the app. See this part, these are list tiles. Every part I will show you. Anything is not visible because we are not completed with the building part yet. Yeah. So here in list tile, we need, there are three arguments like title. What does actually list view dot builder do? It iterates on every element of the list and passes the index of each element to this object which we are going to return through the list view dot builder. And then the list view dot builder builds every list element, like we will be utilizing the lists index. So like for example, we are doing for I in range, for int I less than details dot length I plus plus, then build details of details square bracket I. So it is actually running a, like you can have an idea like that, it is running a for loop. It is iterating through the list and it is giving the lists index to every element and it is building it. See how, for example, title I want details. So it is actually a list with map in it. So list, inside a list there is a map and map has string key value pairs. So details, we access the list, then the element of the list at the index, and then the property, I want the institute's name here. So I will paste institute here, institute. Okay. And it says this some question mark. Question on means null check. So right now you don't need to dive deep into null checking. If you get any error, as I told, press control and full stop and wrap in a text widget. I forgot to use the text. Okay, now you get this string question mark error. Question mark means some null check error. I won't be explaining you that. So for removing the null check error, we can use this exclamatory mark, or we can typecast it using as string. Okay, so the error is gone. Why are these windows opened here? Okay, yeah, now it's fine. Okay, so now the title is here, and here I will give two properties: shrink wrap false, and here then I would be giving physics will be never scrollable physics. Now you see we get some error here. What is the error? Oh, okay. So the error is, like, the best thing about Flutter is you can get the whole stack trace of the error. What is the error? So error is the list view dot builder takes the available space. Like if we are give it 100 pixels, it will take 100 pixels. If we give it 1000 pixel, it will take 1000 pixel. If we don't bound the size, it will take infinite space. So as you can see here in container, here I have used this string wrap. Sorry, I had to use true. Yeah. Now that error is gone. Now what is this error? Why this error is coming? Why? Because there is a property, we call it as item count. Item count means the amount of items we have to build. So we need the details dot length. If there is some error with the app, I will stop the building and will start it again. Yeah, I will run it right again. So like every small details you have to take care about, because Flutter gets very angry if you do any small error also. So because now till it is building, I will explain you how do we do it. Here list view dot builder iterates on every object inside the list called details. Then it gives us the index of every object. Let me close this, I don't need it. Yeah. So it gives us the list of every object. It iterates over the every object and it gives us the index of every object. So see in details index. See, it is giving us the index. This item builder properties giving us the index, and then we have to pass in a function which takes the index as an argument and then uses the index to create the widget out of the information. So list style utilizes the information from the details list, and in the text we have wrapped it because we want text. And how many, why was the error coming? Because I forgot to mention the item count. Like how many items do you want? The how much is the length of details list? That much only items I want. So that's why the error was coming. Now I gave the title. Now you can see everything is there. Now I gave the title. Then I give the subtitle as well. Now all these small parts I will copy paste because we are running out of time. So the subtitle is the subtitle. This we call string interpolation. Okay, so we are using variables inside the string. How? This dollar means whenever you want to include any variable in the string, we use dollar. Now suppose if the variable is hello, hello only, hello itself, then we will write dollar hello. But you can see there is a compound variable, like compound object we want to pass, like details, then details index and all. So we wrap it inside curly braces. Now you can see this year is shown. How? This year. See, each and every the list view dot builder has iterated over each and every object of the list, and as we have used the information from the list, it is showing in the widget. You can see. Okay, title. And this is the subtitle. Okay, and now as we saw, we had this icon on the left. So this is called leading and this is called trailing, because this is at the front, we call it leading. This is at the tail part of the list, last part of the list. That's why we call it trailing. We don't need any trailing object for now. We need only this leading object. So we use the leading object, leading property, leading, and in leading we pass a circular avatar. Circle avatar. Avatar means a circle object will come. See, now in this we want the icon. So child, in child would be icon, and in icon widget I would be using the icons dot thumb up. Oh, sorry, it was a cap icon. So we would use school. In school, yeah, we have this icon here. Okay. See, we have it like this. Why do we have this? Because this is this block here. I will show you how to. Now suppose I don't know what this small area block is coming. So I tap here. Now you can see everything. This is a list view dot builder. This is a list view builder. It means as soon as the objects come, it will expand. That's why we have this arrow here. Now from here I can figure out. Yeah. So this is a card, this is list view, this is list view, this is container, this is here, this is list view. And by this, in this way, we can like go through all the dimensions information of the app and the objects. Now in list view dot builder, there would be a property called padding. I don't want any padding. So edge insights dot zero. See, it's gone. because this was the default padding provided by the list view builder object. Okay, so I use commas everywhere so that it, like, at every comma the extension breaks the uh, brackets. Now why do we see this underlines? It says use const with the constructor to improve performance. How? Because suppose if I am rebuilding it, if I do hot reload, it will if I do hot restart, it will rebuild every part. But if we use const here, const means now it has a fixed memory, it has a fixed memory position in the memory. So it means that it does not need to be rebuilt. In simpler words, the const keyword tells Flutter that it is not needed to be rebuilt. So if we are not, because there's so much less objects, so there won't be any performance issues. But for example, you have so many objects that are rebuilt at once. Like for example, you are getting some yeah, for example, we have example as WhatsApp. Suppose I take WhatsApp, I built WhatsApp in Flutter, and I have a WhatsApp group. There are 200 members, and they are spamming messages and all. So every time the screen is rebuilt, the part where the chat, you see, it is rebuilt to show new chats at the bottom part, or new chats are coming and coming and coming. For example, for every chat, the whole app is rebuilt again and again, every icon, every text, and everything. So at the point your device would hang because the CPU and the RAM has to do so much work. That's why we use const, like where we don't need rebuilding. Like one circular avatar is built, yeah, it is a static object, we don't need any rebuilding. That's why we put const here. So instead of putting const at every part, just go to the part where it shows this blue underline, command dot, and add const modifier. Yeah, so we are done with this part. Now let's create the next part. We will do the left styling at the end. Let's create the structure. Now we have more and then three buttons here. Okay, so we go to my first project and we go to home screen part. Wait, I need to give const to all of these because these text don't need rebuilding. So I will give const. How? Just tap on command dot and add const modifiers everywhere in the file, and here as well. Here they are not needed. Remove unnecessary const. Yeah, so now you see the blue underlines are gone. A blue underline means some suggestion it wants to give, and red underline means some error is there. Okay, now this my education part is built. Now we want this label again, so obviously I'm not gonna type it again. As a developer, you should not waste your time typing the same type of structure again. Just copy and paste it. Okay, and now I just change the text here. Okay, now there I had three buttons, so I will create three buttons here, and those buttons are elevated button. Like for now, on press means on pressing what will happen. For now, I'm not giving any action. And in child, I want some text. Okay, I will give text again at the end. Like let's create three buttons. We have three buttons right here. Okay, now let's put text in them. First of all, we had my projects. Okay, then we have what did we have? Yeah, I have my LinkedIn, and I had my GitHub. Now if I want to put icon, I will put a dot icon sub method here. Takes label. But icon takes label instead of child. Label. Now why does it show error? Because icon is a required property and we have not supplied icon to it. So I'll go to icon, I will give the icon property, and then I will give the icon, and here icons dot projects. I will take some page icon or project or file, which is the icon we should use. Yeah, okay, this is the icon I would like to use. Why isn't it hot reloading? Why did not the change reflect? Because we have some existing errors. We need to fix the error, then only the changes will be fixed. So the best way to learn any development framework, any web or app development, is to go through errors and try to fix it. For example, in Flutter, when you start doing it, you may face some errors which are not known to you, or you may not be able to figure it out. Just copy it, paste it in Google, go to some latest Stack Overflow page. There are people who would be explaining you what could be the issue. So when I started with Flutter development, I did the same. For LinkedIn, I just use some random icon, and for this icons dot I use some project maybe, or file. A file I already used. Project. I don't have any icon. So what could we use? So let's use some. Okay, let's use this logo for now. Any random logo. Now you can see the logos are here. Now I wanted to expand to the full width. So what will I do? In the button itself, there's a property called fixed size. Size, sorry, style, button style, and then button style we need to supply a button style object. There we have size. So we have a fixed size, and fixed size takes a size attribute and size dot from width, and I give it double dot max finite. It takes double dot max finite. Now why do we get a error here? Normally any object takes these objects, but for every button you have to wrap whatever property you supply, you have to wrap it in material property. There are some objects you need to memorize their name. Material property dot all. It takes the full width. Now I will put commas here so that it auto formats. Yeah, I don't need auto formatting here. Now I will copy and paste it here. Style part, complete style part. Uh, Paste and paste. Okay. Now we have built the front page. Now, how we go to a new page? How do we do it? So like how this our app goes, the sample app which we are building. I tap on my projects and it takes me to a new page. How are we doing it? We do it in this way. Uh, we have this project screen. First, need to create something for it. We create a stateless widget, and in a stateless widget, we name it at projects screen. Sorry, yeah. Now we this my projects button, and my projects button on pressed. On pressing my project button, what should happen? So to go to a new page, there is an object called navigator. Navigator dot off, and it automatically appends context. This is needed. Dot push. And why do we take push? Because like the pages are like stack. This is the home page. Dot push, new pages kept on this pages. Now we press back. This page is popped from this stack, removed from this stack. So the page below the top of this stack is there now visible. It is like a stack. Obviously everybody would have studied stack data structure. So it is like a stack. That's why we use push and pop. So right now we need push. Now here we need to supply a route object. The route object is material page route, and in builder autocomplete we will take this, and I will return project screen, and colon, because this is inside a function. Now see, we have gone to this screen. So now we need to create the project screen. Here again we will take a container, and container I will give it height and width double dot max finite, height and width double dot max finite. So now I have given double dot max finite, means it will take the possible size here, and now you can see there is black screen. Why? Because I have not given here scaffold. So wait, first let me give scaffold, and I need to get app bar. In app bar I need title, as we did previously. In title we need text, and in text we need my projects, and semicolon here. Sorry, semicolon. Now see, it is here. Now in the body, inside in the scaffold, in the body, I need this container. Container is there. Now in container, you can see there is this animation. So this animation is we got from a library called Lottie. not that Lottie Choco Pie. Yeah, we are going to add that library. So we go to Chrome, Flutter, Lottie, and this is the Flutter package and installing. Now there are two ways. You copy this Lottie part and paste it in the dependencies in the pubspec.yml, or simply just copy this command. है Go to terminal, paste it, enter. Oh, this side, paste it here. Flutter pub at Lottie. See, it is added to our project. Now we need to have this Lottie file. Lottie file is this animation file is actually a JSON file. How do we get it? There is a website called Lottie Files. You can search for Lottie animations here. Like search animation, I go hello. They are the animations. You just download them and you can import them in your file. So I already have this in the project. So I will copy it from there and paste it in my project here. So I copy it, copy, and here in the root of my project for directory, I create a folder called assets. And oh, this file I created, I want to create a folder in the root. I create a folder called Lottie, sorry, assets. In assets, I paste the file, paste the Lottie JSON file is here. Now, still we can't use it in a project. Why? Because we have to include it in the pubspec.yml as well. So here we go to the assets part, we uncomment it. We uncomment this dash also, like the assets which we have to include. And I will include the whole assets folder. Okay. Now I will press Ctrl S so that the file is refreshed. Flutter pub get means it is adding the information from pubspec.yml into our project. Now we have this in the project. Now I can use it. So here I want a child, and in child, because you saw the things were in a vertical order, so I will use column, and in column I will use children. In children I will give Lottie asset, because we are taking it from assets, and then I will supply the directory. So assets slash proj underscore Lottie dot json. Yeah, now you see it is right here. It is so simple. Flutter makes the life very simple. See, so it's a great animation right here. Okay, now as you can see in the app, we have this. Now, as we did previously using this list view dot builder, we will be doing the same here also. So we use list view dot we get the data from here for the project screen. Okay, where is the project screen? Yeah, we paste it here. Remove this constant is not needed. Yeah, the listed here list is here, the name of the project, the description of the project, and the stack used. Okay, so now again we will use inside column, inside children, list view dot builder, and in item builder I want to return a list tile. In list tile I would yeah, and I won't forget to give item count this time so that I don't get very endless errors. And projects.length, and then in list tile I want the title. What should be the title should be the name. So inside projects I will access the index, and inside the index I will give name key. This has to be wrapped in a text widget. So text, you know, and this null check error, because in dictionary a data type may be null. Or so, like, how does the script know that I have provided this like for this key I have provided any string or not? It could be null also, whatever. So maybe in the newer versions of Flutter, like you would have the latest version, this error may not be there, because version by version they are creating new changes. Like this is something 3.7 or 3.x version is there. In 2.x version, there was nothing called null check. This is null check error. Argument of string question mark means it can take string or null also, but string only takes string, no null. Okay, so we will typecast it as a string. Okay, and I will give shrink wrap is true. See, now it is here. Why did we use shrink wrap? Shrink wrap means it will take the minimum space possible. It will not expand infinitely. Because if I don't give shrink wrap is true, by default the shrink wrap is false. See, by default it is false. So if I don't give shrink wrap is true, it will expand infinitely and it will try to take infinite space, and this error would occur. Means needs hash size, means this hash size property we have not given. Render box was not laid out. So these are more technicals of Flutter. I won't dive deep into it. I'm just giving you a bit idea of our list view dot builder. So shrink wrap is true, and now you can see there is some scrolling. This looks so odd. So in physics, I will give never scrollable physics. So scrolling is disabled now. Now you see no scrolling is there. Now I will give the remaining details. In remaining details, actually I just don't want this list style. I want that every list style to be separate. So I will wrap it in a container list style. And how to wrap it in a container? Obviously, I won't go on adding the brackets, then commas, etc. Go your cursor, keep your cursor on that object which you want to wrap, and then press Control Shift R. Control Shift R, and this is called refactoring. So you can get options here to make your life easier. Just wrap with container, and boom, it is wrapped with the container. And then I want to actually I want to wrap it with a card as well to give that shadow effect. See, it is wrapped in a card as well now, and you can see now it is stick to the edges. So I would take some padding in the container which I've used as the body, and I will use padding and that edge insets dot all, and edge insets dot all 15 maybe. 15 works great. Okay, so here now I will take my portfolio. Now I will get subtitle. The remaining part I will copy the subtitle, uh, project screen, list style, and subtitle. And subtitle, now you see in the app, in subtitle the text is placed up the like below and above each other in a vertical order. So we need a column again. So again, where is it? List style. Inside list style I need a subtitle. In subtitle I will pass in a widget. See, you can see if I hover over it there is widget. So I will enter the column, and inside column I need children, and in children I need two text. So that I will copy from here. Yeah, see, now I need it is coming in center. So for this column I need to give cross axis alignment dot start, because I want it from the start. Now you see. Okay, now I want padding below and above these objects. So in list style there is a property called content padding. So there I will get add insights dot all in 10 units maybe. Yeah, this looks great now. Now we have built the basic structure of the app. So we will do the styling at the very end. Now let's see how to link to this button. How to link to this button? How, like, to the browser? So there is a package called URL launcher. URL launcher Flutter. We need to import this as well in our project. So we go to the terminal, we paste it here, and pubhead URL launcher. This runs, and then let it process. Yeah, the processing is done. Now in project screen, sorry, in home screen, this button on pressed, what to do on pressed? Like in JavaScript we have on tap, we have here on pressed, like on click, sorry. In JavaScript we have on click listener, here we have on pressed. So on pressed I want to launch URL, and that URL is to be, that URL string has to be like parsed using this URI dot parse. This is the method Flutter understands. https dot linkedin dot uh, linkedin.com. Okay, and for the GitHub as well, I will go to uh, I will go to github.com. Now, why this is not showing? Because the uh, because the display part, I mean the part which is done through the linking, needs to gain information from the system. Like in iOS and Android both as well. Mainly in iOS. In Android it works seamlessly. So we need to rebuild the app again. So we will go and run without debugging. We will wait for it to launch. Hmm. Now you can see if I tap on LinkedIn, you can see LinkedIn opening in the browser. And if I tap on GitHub, you can see GitHub opening in the browser. So in this way, you can open links from your browser. So my projects is also working. Now, what are we left with? Adding the image. So the very final task in circular avatar, we are going to use this in the home screen, in the circle avatar. We need a child, and in a child, there is an object called image, and we need it image, and we need from network. So image dot network. Like I will be using the link from the web. So I have a link to my LinkedIn DP. I will copy it. Yeah, and I will paste it here. Paste. I need to copy the string. I copied the whole line. Yeah, I copied the string and I pasted here. Yeah, yeah, I need to remove const. Okay. Why I need to remove const? Because the data is depending on the data is dynamic. It is taken from the web. Hence I can't use const here. Now the image is not circle, it is not fitting inside the object. So there is an object called clip rrect to clip the image into a circle. So we will wrap it with a widget, and I will give the name clip rrect. And in the clip rrect, I will give border radius, something very border radius dot circular. You can't directly give a double value. You need to use this border radius dot circular and some very big radius. Now see, our app is complete. So as we are running out of time now, I could just not explain you the background coloring. So we would do. I would be sharing this whole of the script on GitHub. So my link to GitHub is github.com/Jenny Aryan. Okay, so here you would be finding the repo to this project. Okay, I will name it as tech niche or something, my first project. So there you can find it, the link to the whole complete project. Okay, so okay, let's go to the PPT again. So we covered stateless and stateful widgets, and then we covered how we create a first app. We ran this command, we created the project, and we loaded the project in VS Code. I prefer using VS Code, and VS Code is the best IDE for Flutter. And then we discussed the widgets, UI, text row, column button, the navigation, how we go to some pages. So we have covered the basic parts. So thank you for lending your time to me. And some resources like on you can search YouTube for Flutter courses, and on Udemy as well there are instructors like Academind, Angela U. They are the best instructors for Flutter development. So you can refer to them on Udemy. That's all from my side. Thank you guys. I hope you liked it, and I hope I was clear enough to deliver the lecture to you and it was understandable enough.